A warm welcome to Copenhagen and to the opening of the United Nations Climate Change Conference 2009.
UN Climate Change Conference. The United Nations Climate Change Conference taking place in Copenhagen, Denmark in December is widely seen as the last chance to stop average global temperatures from rising by 2 degrees centigrade by the end of the 21st century. Most of the world's scientists agree that global warming is a serious problem that is being caused by a buildup of greenhouse gases in the Earth's atmosphere due to human activities such as fossil fuel burning and deforestation, and that a 2-degree temperature rise will have a disastrous environmental impact in some part of the world.
Everybody was agreed upon that we needed to guarantee the 2 degrees of global warming as a cap till 2020. Everybody agrees with the 2 degrees Celsius.
There is much less agreement among the world's politicians, however, about how the burden of cutting total emissions of greenhouse gases should be shared. Many developing countries want the world's richest country to reduce their emissions to at least 40% below 1990 levels by 2020. But the United States, for example, has been reluctant to make specific commitments, while the European Union aims to reduce emissions to 20% below 1990 levels by 2020, and would aim for a bigger reduction if other countries made similar efforts. It is undeniable that the world's most developed countries, despite having only a small proportion of the world's total population, have been responsible for a large proportion of greenhouse gas emissions. But fast-developing poorer countries with large populations are also contributing to the problem. China, in fact, is now the world's biggest producer of greenhouse gases, with the United States in second place. It now seems unlikely that the Copenhagen Conference will produce an international environmental treaty in which countries adopt legally binding commitments with regard to emission cuts. If there is an agreement, it will probably just be on basic principles, namely that developed nations must make substantial cuts to the emissions, that developing countries must agree to limit the future growth of their emissions, and that rich countries must provide financial help to poor countries to help them achieve their targets and cope with the effects of global warming. Time, of course, is running out. In fact, the most pessimistic scientists think it is already too late to stop global temperatures rising by at least 5 degrees by the end of the century. Because global warming leads to rising sea levels, some areas of land might already be underwater by 2100. The Maldives, a group of low-lying islands in the Indian Ocean with a population of about 300,000, are particularly threatened. In fact, the president of the country recently drew attention by holding a cabinet meeting on the seabed, 4 meters in the water, with all the ministers wearing scuba diving equipment. It was a memorable publicity stunt, but will it have any positive effect? This page has been downloaded from www.insideout.net.